Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good? I'm back. It's Rody. As you can see, I don't have the braids in my hair anymore. I took them out. I haven't been able to I've noticed that, as time goes on and I go in between not getting retwists, that I don't keep my braids in as long. I don't know if I'm tender-headed or what. I don't know if it's just the mix of that tightness and I can't get to the actual spot where it's itching or what. But I really just keep them in for like 2 weeks. But my hair still looks good. Like it still looks good as if, for it being retwisted almost like 3 weeks ago. So Daphne does a really good job. I know a few of you guys have hit me up, like, hey, I'm in an area who researches your hair, like even some people out in like Waco and like out the Austin area hit me up. And they're like, I'm close by, who researches your hair. So I put her information down again in the description. And yeah, man, it's definitely worth the travel, every so often, every 3 weeks. And I go maybe like once every 3 weeks, once a month to get my hair done. But yeah, so it's really coming along. I want to say she has the growing hand, but she does really good. I constantly snip my ends, like the little wispy ones, and I feel like that's also what blunts them. Like this one's really good blunted, I think, and it's all like I see a lot of videos of people who do, who blunt their tips, like do whatever, like a technique to blunt their tips, and that's all I'm fine and dandy, and that's cool. Like if you really want to hurry up and get to the whole blunted process, but I just feel like blunted tips is what happens naturally when your dreads have fully have developed that way, if you will. So I noticed by cutting off some of the little curlier ends, like see this one how it's like kind of like curling up upwards like in a hook shape at the bottom. Like if I was to snip that out, or even like as I continue to like retwist my hair, then it will blunt off, So I know the homie of mine, BA Asinine, she actually asked me like, was the clip my ends help blunt them off, and I want to say yeah. And then I noticed that she has a technique where she blunted her ends, I think with a needle and something, and I think that's cool. That's actually really cool. Like something that I would sit down. It looks tedious, but it's something I would sit down and I would do if I really wanted that whole uniformity look. Go for it. But like for all you other guys, if you were wondering, that's something that just naturally happens. It just takes time, and but you go on with the process, and you learn. I still haven't. Somebody also. Oh, another thing that somebody asked me was, well, I'm about to dye my hair, and I heard that if you continuously bleach your hair, will it damage it? Well, I want to say yeah, it'll damage it, and no, it'll damage it. Yeah, it'll damage it. Like my hair right here, from putting all the colors in and from going from a green to a blue, that was a real drastic color doing, and then trying to go back to a black. No, I went to black, and then that was fine, and I should have waited a little bit while longer before actually putting another bleach in when I went black, and then trying to put another color on top of that. So I guess the purple or the blue or whatever like that, if you can see it, it's like a damaged kind of purplish. Like you can tell, it's kind of like an absence of color. It looks kind of burnt offish, like some of the little lighter parts in there with the blue. It doesn't look that bad, but I could tell that it's mostly damaged, where it was too much bleach and too much color, and the color didn't really take. So I would say be more aware when dyeing your dreads of the color schemes that you want to go for. If you want to go from a blonde to a red, cool. If you want to go from a red to a lighter blonde, beware at the time, because the most damage you're really gonna see is the color part, and eventually the dryness. I noticed actually on the wispier ends. I wish I had saved the piece of dread that I had cut off. You can actually see, it was a dread, and it was kind of attached here, and I had cut it off, and it was just so dry that I didn't even cut it off. I was able to just pull it off. So the dryness, keeping your hair moisture and the color and all that, I wouldn't suggest dyeing your hair. If it was really that serious, no more than twice a year. For real. So that's about 6 months in between doing it. That's my suggestion. That's what I would do. So, that's that. a lot of people are actually also say that, hey, don't use beeswax, and that's the constant like rumor, like bad thing that goes on in the Drake community, like do not use beeswax. But I use beeswax, and as you guys can see, you don't see that buildup in my hair. I don't, like, I'm gonna give you guys a 360. Like for real, look in there, like look in there. You know, you don't see, like, if anybody sees any buildup, and like what buildup is, especially like if you have locks, you know what you're looking for. Like at first I was like, well, what am I actually looking for? As the time went on, and I can see it. Like I've seen it in other people's dreads. I've seen it, in real life in other people's dreads, and it's like that little residue, like from working out. The buildup that people are talking about is that from like if you work out and you sweat out all that sweat and all that salt that gets, like, imagine if you're wearing a black shirt and all that salt will be like on your shirt. Like that's the kind of residue, that's the kind of the buildup that everybody is like saying that beeswax gives you. And clearly I don't have it. Like maybe here and there I may have it, but then also that can be caused from washing your hair and not rinsing it out properly. That backup could be caused by using too much of a product. So I think that with anything it'll cause buildup. So I use beeswax. I guess you could say I use it cautiously, if you will. But I don't use a lot of it. I know there's a certain way that you have to use it. Beeswax is something that has to be melted into your hair. You shouldn't use a lot of beeswax, multiple times a month. Like if I do retwist with beeswax, it's probably just like once a month. And doing it the right way. Like you have to fully dry your hair all the way through. Like I think I did a video, maybe like 2-3 videos back, and someone left a comment like, yo, I see the residue, building up in your hair. Like I had just did a quick retwist, shot the video right quick, and then you can still see it built up. Like I think that's the beeswax buildup that most people say. Like when you retwist it, you see it, but it's just kind of like you either use too much and you didn't let it set. You just gotta let beeswax set. So that's just my take on it. So when everybody asks me like, yo, do you still use beeswax? Yes, I do. When I retwist my hair, I use beeswax. My loctician, she uses, I would say I've seen some lock around the gel. That seems to work pretty good. As you guys can see, she uses like the ORS, I think, and like just regular dread stuff. Like a lot of people looking for organic ways and organic stuff to use, and that's cool. Like but that stuff is expensive. And I'm stick to it true to this day. When I started off in my dreads, I was like, I'm looking for a cheap, inefficient way to maintain these. But as far as shampoos and like oils and stuff like that goes, like the argan oils and the jojobas and the tea trees, like the good stuff, and the black castors, you're gonna be spending like $6, $7, $8 on upwards towards that to get some good products. Like shampoos and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, you gotta have. You know what I'm saying? You gotta spend the money on that stuff because you want to keep them clean. You want to keep the scalp clean, and I think a clean scalp and a wash is actually what helps a retwist stay longer. But that's too much assumptions for me, I guess. But so doing that, and like, yeah, she keeps my hair really, really healthy. My barber Carlos, man, shout out to him. I know some of you guys who like follow me on the Snapchat, you saw Carlos, man. Carlos is a black guy with a Mexican name. Like, I don't know, but he is the barber guy, man. So if you're in the CTX, man, I know the spots, man, you should go. I'm starting to notice a few people actually trickling in there. So I know the word is getting around. You know what I'm saying? What else in my life? Still on the search. I actually do Uber. I'm an Uber driver. So if you're in the Austin area, in the CCX, and you use Uber, I might be a driver one of these days. I suggested if any of you guys need like cash on the side, or even if you guys need a full-time job, you gotta have a 2005 or newer. Usually, most of the Uber drivers, they're like 2012s and up, but you definitely, for sure, to be in the game, you have to have a 2005 or newer, and just treat it like professionalism. Treat it like a regular job. Like, keep your car clean, keep it free of smells, just be like a cool taxi driver. Like, I think it's really cool. I've got to meet, like, a lot of, I met, like, the CEO of Yeti Cups. I met, like, a lot of people who, like, are in the field that I'm in, like the marketing field. I've done a lot of networking. I've met one of the hiring directors at Google Wallet, and he told me that they were hiring now. I don't have quite have the qualifications to work at the financial department of Google, but I'm just saying, like, those are the type of doors that Uber, you know, and being a driver in like big cities that opens up, you know. So in the meanwhile, as I transition and, you know, work my way into graduating and earning my degree, you know, I use those. I'm utilizing those connections that I'm making, and like, yo, I've only been doing it for less than a month, maybe like 3 weeks or so, and I've earned close to maybe $1,000, and I think that's really good for just doing maybe like 20 hours out of a week. So, and you get paid every week too. So I'll drop a share code down, and which is a refer code. And what I liked about it, how I got on, I used Uber once on a vacation, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like a regular car is gonna come pick me up, and I was like, when I get home, I was like, man, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I've got the qualifications. I've got a nice car. I can keep it clean or whatever like that. I could do this. Just riding around, dropping people off. You know, how many people hit me up now and need a ride and don't have any gas money? So, you know, so y'all drop the refer code, and how it works is I was referred, and usually how referrals work is they're like, oh yeah, write my name down or whatever like that, and then they get you in or whatever, and I'll get a refer thing, and it's just kind of like usually when they're referred, they get paid, but when you're referred, like you get paid too, and I think my boy got paid like $200 or something like that, and if you repay somebody, you get $200 and they'll get $200 or $100 depending on how big their city is. So it's like everybody wins when you get on, you know, to the Uber train. Like, I know in some cities they make you jump through a lot of hoops, you know, but Texas is by far the easiest. Well, Austin is by far the easiest place to get on to Uber. Like, you do the background checks, they check your license, they check for your, make sure you got insurance and all that good stuff. But as long as you're legit and you're running clean, like, man, I'm telling you, like, if I was a full-time taxi cab driver, like, I don't know, man. It gets like, I feel like I can't do any more than 4 or 5 hours, because anything other than that is just kind of like, man, I'm tired of driving, I'm tired of sitting. This is a lot. Traffic is already frustrating as it is. But yeah, I'm gonna drop just the whole, just check the description box. I filled the description box. I tried to with some like helpful stuff, with some links and some stuff like that you guys may, you know, ask me about. I may have questions about, or that I may just have answers to. So yeah, so just a little quick little drop in, just a little chit chat with you guys. Check out the hair, you know. You feel me? You feel me? Yeah. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.